You guys ready?
Ready.
Let's go.
In the Huddle, show 13, lucky number 13 today, and it's going to be a good luck omen because we have two incredible guests coming up in the second quarter. He couldn't do it, could he?
No, he couldn't.
We bet. I said he won't make it.
I did it on purpose.
He won't make it to 30 seconds. And don't you love him? Earlier in the office. Sorry to interrupt you, Vance.
No,
He didn't make it 30 seconds. All right. Hey, everybody, that's Trevor Horn. Let's just let him get in right now. Trevor Horn. That's Dan Green, the Director of School Support Services. I'm some schluck that just gets to be here with these guys. 13th episode of In the Huddle. Stan, lot to go over. Two great guests coming up in the second quarter. We'll keep that a secret, but we will tell you it's volleyball-centric because tonight, the game of the week, the match of the week, Centennial at Liberty Volleyball. We have a ton of content to go over in that show. Alex, nice to see our director here. She's got it all dialed in as well. But Stan, before we get into scores and all of that stuff, there's a couple of topics I want to cover with you, the Director of School Support Services, the boss. First things first, we're 13 shows in now, and now we're at the precipice of league play. A couple schools still have a little bit of crossover, but now this coming Friday night for football, we're in it with volleyball. But for football, the rubber hits the road here.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And all sports just like that, too, right? So volleyball last week was round one, and tennis and golf. So, the second season is here, and when it really starts to matter for league titles and then kind of set up for the third season of the playoffs. But, yeah, this is a great time of the year. I just wish the heat would go away.
My next topic, you segued right into it, the weather. Can you believe it? Tomorrow's October 1st. We look at our phones and we see the last lash of summer whipping its tail, 103 on Wednesday. It looks as though Friday night football is okay, though.
Yeah, some of the ADs are already starting to move a couple things just in preparation. They're kind of waiting to ride the week out. With the new wet bulb globe temperature that we use, I think we should be okay. But, it's always lurking out there that, if it spikes or something, we're going to have to delay.
We kind of always think, all right, we've made it into October. We're kind of back on the regular schedule. Last question for you, and then I'm going to bring in T-Horn. Trevor does a lot of work over the weekends, a lot of work on the sidelines at his laptop, and we're going to get into all of that work in just a second. But I know he gets it when he's at events. I get it. Right when we went off the air at West High School and In the Huddle, I started getting it, and I know you're getting it, the interest level of In the Huddle, and when are you going to this school? When are you coming to that school? Hey, our volleyball team's really good. We're going to cover that. Hey, would you guys ever even consider doing a tennis match? I mean, it's starting to happen here, not only just with In the Huddle, but our Kern High Network game of the week. We've been doing football forever, wrestling, basketball, volleyball, but now everybody wants to be a part of In the Huddle. It has to be hitting your desk.
Oh, 100%. It's really great. I feel like what we touched turned to gold.
Mm-hmm.
And, we never thought we would be on a campus as early as we were. And then now it just looks like the sky's the limit. I mean, maybe by this spring, we probably can't send Trevor out, but maybe you to golf. Okay, he's on the third hole.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I have to put a 2-year-old down so I know how to be quiet.
Hey, that would be awesome. So interest is high. To everyone out there that comes up to us and wants us to get involved, believe me, we know demand is high. Supply is where the issue might lie with time and getting on the calendar and getting everybody out there. But we appreciate you even wanting to be. In the Huddle at West High School was absolutely a total blast. And you're right, Trevor, we finally broke the curse. Every show that we've done in the Huddle, that team has happened to lose.
I did say that.
But West High School got by Arvin in a great game of the week. And by the way, go back and watch that in the archives. That was a game that went down to the very last second. Arvin rushed their kicker on with like 6 seconds, snapped it, and it was long enough, but it was wide. Great game, 2019 West. Tonight, volleyball match of the week, Centennial at Liberty. More on that in a moment. And then In the Huddle this Friday, we will be up at Scotland Yard. We'll be up at Highland because the big game of the week to start off league play. Stan, I'm so glad you chose this one. This one's going to be a big one. Tease it just a little bit. BHS at 5-0, Highland at 4-1. What a game.
Yeah, early in the year we kind of, what game could be good week 6? And so that looks like a really good game. And I think this might be, well, for sure it's the game of the year so far, but it could be the game of the year.
I love it. Well, we're going to segue.
We got a few coming up.
We're going to segue with that right into our man T-Horn. Trevor, week 6 scoreboard, that was, one of those weekends where we didn't have a ton of games, had some good ones. That one that we called was a good one, but let's jump in, buddy.
Yeah, we only had 5 games with Kern High School District teams in it. So we'll start off first on this slide. Kern Valley hosted Lompoc, and Kern Valley actually had a lead. They were tied for a long time, and then Lompoc was able to finally pull away. Aiden Madden rushed for 84 yards and 2 TDs and scored the third touchdown, all 3 for the Broncs on a fumble recovery. Lompoc victorious 35-21, which is actually the exact score that I picked on this game.
Wow.
I saw that.
Exact score. And I was like, I don't in 7 years of doing this, I don't think I've ever done that before.
That's pretty cool, bro.
Yeah.
I was impressed when I saw that this morning, and so I'm in a knockout pool, and we're kind of near the end. Can you help me this coming weekend?
No, it's not. Is it high school football?
No.
Then I'm useless.
Oh, wait. Let's just pause for a moment and take that in.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you're talking about
Alex, please do not cut that up without some backstory to it.
if you're trying to guess the NFL, good luck anyway. Good luck.
My goodness, did you see that Baltimore Bills score coming?
Just across the board, if you look at NFL, that's no easy task. All right, Trev.
Hi. Okay. And then Kern Valley this week is on the road at Desert, actually a winless Desert team that happens to be, well, until the site went down, the lowest ranked team in the Central Section by Cal Preps. Next game, Miramonte at East. Miramonte, Nathan Gonzalez had another huge game, rushed for 168 yards and 2 touchdowns and a workmanlike 28 carries, big pass and catch by Corday Fulmer. If you didn't see that catch, it was he got mossed moment on a 59-yard TD. Miramonte victorious 21-10 over the Blades. This week on Thursday, East will host Hatchby, and then on Friday, Miramonte is at Foothill. That's going to be a fun game. Shafter went on the road in a kind of a foggy game in Santa Maria against St. Joseph. What a game. Marion Sloan rushed for 3 touchdowns, but after St. Joseph missed a potential go-ahead field goal, Sloan was called with an intentional grounding in the end zone, and that gave St. Joseph the 30-28 lead, and Shafter was not able to reclaim the lead. That was a final score 30-28, snapping a 14-game regular season win streak for Shafter. Shafter hosts Taft, and they'll get back in the win column this week.
I don't think that's a bad loss for Shafter. I mean, it is a bad loss, but it's not going to hurt him.
St. Joseph might be top 10 in the state for 0-4 teams. I mean, that's a brutal schedule. It's a really good football team. They battled Centennial the week prior. It's not you're right. It's not a bad loss.
Yeah. Just a bad break, too.
It is. And really, that was like, when you looked at the schedule, you're like, oh, that Edison should be a good game for them. And then we realized how bad Edison is this year. So even in a loss, I think Perucci is going to be able to take what came out of that game and move forward properly with it.
What about this next game? Oof.
Liberty just manhandled Independence 42-6. Tough night for Gunter Gola. Richie Bolin replaced Clay Turk at quarterback, brought in Rob Smith and Gavin Parham, who this was his first game eligible after transferring. They both combined for 126 passing yards. Parham threw for 1 score and ran for another one in the victory. And both of these teams now go on a bye. They actually went 6 weeks before they got a bye, so they're going to get a random bye before they both start the final 4 weeks of league coming up. They got their cross-rival game out of the way.
That's right. Yeah, that was a smart move.
Yeah. Well, I mean, smart. Some may say, hey, I wanted a little break, but at least they get it before technically league without that cross-rival, because the cross-rival could be all the way up to the last game of the season, like we see with Garces and BCHS.
The bye this week, and then next week it's Frontier, so they need it.
Yep. And then finally, our game of the week, the one that you were at, Vance. I'll let you dive in more on this, but it was a wild one. Arvin missed the 32-yard field goal with 12 seconds left. West quarterback Elias Garola rushed and passed for touchdown. Lorenzo Vasquez, I've really enjoyed watching him play football this year. 58-yard rushing touchdown for the Vikings, and then Adrian Sarabia returned the fumble 40 yards for the Bears. West wins this one 20-19. Arvin, both of these games are going to be on Thursday this week. Arvin's at North. Arvin hosts North, I apologize, and then West is at South High.
Wow, 2 really good games. Arvin North, West South. That was a good game. We had a blast calling it, Rick Van Horn and I, and a lot of nostalgia there with the West Arvin vibes and Dallas Grider Field. And the The public address announcer, Paul Stein, was kind of mixing in a lot of fun facts about Arvin and West
Paul
the whole
Stein.
way through, and it was just a really great atmosphere. The most interesting thing was that last kick. You could see it starting to unfold and starting to develop, and I'm texting who I thought I was texting one of my Arvin contacts, Edgar Maras, and I'm like, Edgar, who's the kicker for Arvin? The whole time I find out now I was texting my old Arvin crony, Johnny Rose, and that's why I kind of get mixed up. But 16 seconds left, they rushed this second string kicker on. He never really had done that much kicking. But earlier in the game, he missed a PAT and kicked it about 1,000 yards.
I was going to say,
man,
he had the distance. It was just wide
got
left.
it. So then they're rushing him on, and we didn't know what they were going to do. With time running out, he booted it again, just went wide right. West High, big win, a good win. I'll tell you what you might not know, Stan, because I don't know if you listened to the end of it, but for the Kern High Network Game of the Week, a player of the game, we gave the entire offensive line player of the game. So we need to get some double X's, triple X's order. Two of the big guys that we had on the show, I mean, the whole offense was that offensive line. They run that really packed in, tight wing offense, and we had two great guests on the show on Friday for In the Huddle, those two big old boys. So thank you, Trevor. Appreciate that.
We've got new shirts coming in soon.
Well, we're
In the Huddle.
We're gonna need 5. We're gonna need 5 of them. And I actually referenced you on the air and said, "Hey, get the order in." Before we go into the second quarter, thanks, T.
Yep.
Second round for volleyball. Here we go. Stan picked a great one. Last week we had a really, really nice match at Stockdale High School where they handled Frontier in 4. Tonight's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one. And I wish I was going to be in the next segment. I wish we had 5 mics so I could ask some great questions of the guest and the coach.
I'll lay out.
I'll listen over here. I'll yell.
I'll lay out.
It'll be the peanut gallery.
When we come back, our 2 very, very special guests are from Centennial High School. Trevor will do those introductions. We'll be back right after this in the Huddle, second quarter.
Valley Strong's youth accounts help kids practice earning and spending in the real world.
So, my rate for dishes is going up with inflation.
Oh, is it?
Blame the economy.
Because when we plant financial literacy young, it grows the rest of their lives. Valley Strong's youth accounts teach kids how to save and earn interest on their hard-earned money.
Hey! You should be earning interest on your savings. Make the money work for you.
Because when we plant financial literacy young, it grows the rest of their lives.
Welcome back to In the Huddle, second quarter. We were so fortunate to have these 2 great guests with us. The big boss, Dan Green, right there, kind of steps out and allows us to have a little fun. Young lady, get right up there next to that microphone. You're a setter, so you're used to being the boss and being in control, so no better time than now. Trevor Horn, it's all yours.
Well, to your right, Morgan. George. I had that, sorry. You are the senior setter for Centennial, and then to my left, in her second year at Centennial as the head coach, Kim Harper, but it is definitely not your second year as the head coach in Kern County.
No, it's not.
Not even close. So welcome, both of you guys. Ranked number 6 right now. They just changed it. So
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Trevor does all this work and getting all the stats and everything ready, and then while Kim shows up with Morgan in the back office here, she says, "Oh, the rankings have changed." So where were you and where are you now, Coach?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure.
I know.
I just know it's game day today, and I know it moves, a couple of times a week. But honestly, I'm not 100% sure what it was.
What was your cross-rival game last week?
We played BHS.
Maybe that did a little bit something. Maybe the track schools played each other last week, and that bolstered their strength of schedule. And maybe the BHS win kind of dropped yours down a little bit. No offense to the drillers, but the strength of schedule for the track is just that much higher when it comes to the computer algorithm for max preps. So you guys were 3rd, and Liberty was 4th, and now Liberty is now 4th, and you're 5th or 5th and 6th. I know Clovis High, a team that you've swept this season, moved up to number 2. So obviously they got a decent win over Buchanan, I believe, last week. So, it all just kind of fluctuates, and it all evens out by the end of the month before we get to playoffs.
Yes.
Yep.
So tonight's the big night. Game of the week, Centennial at Liberty. These two coaches know each other very, very well. We do have a Morgan on the show. It's not Morgan Dake, your counterpart, but it's Morgan George.
Yeah.
I'm going to have your coach give us the feel for the whole team in just a minute and kind of go through the roster. But you're a senior setter. How many years in varsity?
4 years.
Wow, fourth year. You're a tall setter. You're a long-legged setter. So let's talk about your role on this team and where do you feel that you're fit? I mean, I know the volleyball world enough to know that the setters, they're the quarterback of the team, but how do you feel you're doing this year? And give us kind of a look at your year so far.
Yeah, so as a co-captain, I definitely take a more leadership role on the team. And I try to lead the girls as best as I can, like you said, kind of like that quarterback role, just kind of helping run the offense, getting everyone hyped, and making sure that we're strong competitors out on the court.
When you're giving me the answer, I see your coach behind nodding and grinning. Coach, tell us about this special player here.
Well, I mean, I don't know where to start with you have a leader like Morgan on your team. She fits the mold of having a coach on the court. She brings such experience and leadership, but in addition, she's just genuinely well-liked by her teammates, and she definitely does a great job of getting them hype and bringing the fire, for practice games. And I think she's just such a steady personality in such a tough role that we really lean on her a lot for those things,
Love it, Trev.
Mm-hmm.
Kim, I think one of the things that you told me last Wednesday post was the big thing about this team for you guys this year is the camaraderie that this team has and the full bond that you guys have.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Did that start in the spring? Was that summer camp? Was that the trip to Hawaii? What was it?
Well, I mean, I think for a lot of this team, we have 8 seniors, so I think it started in third grade. But these ladies really, like I mentioned to you on Wednesday, they do prioritize team first, and they have totally embraced that mentality. And they just want to see our team be successful, whatever that means. And with the leadership of our 8 seniors, they really set the tone for what we're trying to do this year.
Megan, when the word got out that you and the Liberty Patriots were in Hawaii, kicking it in Hawaii, that was like big news. And then to come to find out that you guys traveled all that way to play each other in the final match, that's a really, really cool story. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so there was definitely a lot of anticipation going up to that game. It did kind of suck because we only played one set, just because there was a luau. But I think there definitely was still competition. And I mean, right before.
Hey, if there's ever a reason to call it short, call a thing short, call it quick, Morgan, it's because there's a luau, right?
Yeah.
Priorities,
Yeah.
Don't let the pig dry out.
Yeah, we had to get there.
Yeah, so I think the game, leading up to it, everyone was very excited. I mean, the warm-up, everyone's screaming, excited. And I think it definitely was a really good game, even if it was only one set.
But to Trevor's point, that's the ultimate bonding trip in high school. I mean, you're not just going up the valley to Fresno. That's a great time. Did you have fun?
Yeah, I mean, the plane ride was great, and then obviously staying in a hotel room for few days with each other, that's always going to be fun, and everyone's just it's kind of like one big sleepover, I guess.
Kim, give us a snapshot of your team.
Oh, all right. Well, I think if you were to break down and really evaluate our team, we're just one of those really consistent. We don't have a lot of peaks or valleys. We really just stay pretty level, and we execute at a pretty high level. They're very moldable and coachable during matches. They adapt to adversity really well, and they really have a strong sense of that scrappy mentality. They're tough on defense. They make a lot of hustle plays. They don't quit. And we really, can be explosive. We're very dynamic and balanced on offense. She does a great job really working on making sure we kind of make sure everybody's involved and that, we kind of keep people on their toes, hopefully a little bit.
Morgan, this one's for you. A lot of the key pieces came back from last season, but the one addition that I've seen that is, made a good difference for you guys is in the back row with you, and that's Cat Wolf-Smith at libero. How much has she brought to this team and kind of helped you on that back row, making sure that you guys get the ball set properly so your hitters can do their job properly?
Yeah, I would say Kat is a really big asset, especially back row. She is such a force back there, and, she's really scrappy. Everything's getting up, setter dump, deep line tip, nothing's getting past her. And so I think that just makes us way more, capable to run an offense with that.
Our guests are Morgan George, senior setter, and the head coach that wants to say something, Kim Harper.
No, I was just
She just want to make
reiterating
fun of me.
what I was reiterating what Morgan said. She's been a huge component to our team and definitely has allowed us to, really take things step it up a notch a little bit.
I said this is very free flowing. Jump in.
Yeah.
We'll have a great conversation about anything. What we want to do is take a very short break because the third quarter we're going to kind of stretch it out. We want to talk about tonight, very specifically about tonight. Kim, I want you to also be ready to talk about your relationship and friendship with the other head coach. Okay. It's volleyball world's a very close knit world in any community, most certainly in Bakersfield with the club aspect of it. So be prepared to talk about you and the other Morgan. And I want to hear this Morgan's take on tonight's game and the competition. I'm sure Trevor has some more things as well. We'll be back in the huddle, third quarter, right after this.
Valley Strong's youth accounts help kids practice earning and spending in the real world.
So, my rate for dishes is going up. With inflation.
Oh, is it?
Blame the economy!
Because when we plant financial literacy young, it grows the rest of their lives. Valley Strong's youth accounts teach kids how to save and earn interest on their hard-earned money.
Hey! You should be earning interest on your savings. Make the money work for you.
Because when we plant financial literacy young, it grows the rest of their lives.
Welcome back to In the Huddle. We are here with two very special guests, Morgan George, senior setter for the Centennial Golden Hawks, and the head coach, Kim Harper, very, very highly respected, well-known coach in the area. And I think I'll start there, Kim. Right before we went to break, I teased you with something you can start getting ready for. Morgan Dake, the other Morgan, that's not here today, she's the head coach at Liberty. You guys have coached together for a long, long time, at a lot of different levels. I've always just thought of you guys always glued at the hip together, you and Morgan, very, very close friends. But tonight, you'll be getting after it in a very highly anticipated, highly watched match. We're going to have a ton of people watching it for our match of the week. Talk a little bit about that friendship and how you're able to kind of say, okay, the ball's going up, see you afterwards.
I think with the volleyball community, there's a lot of that happens in Bakersfield. You've known someone for a long time, and then you have to coach against them, play against them. For Morgan and I, it's been like this for a long time. In 2007, I coached against her senior year of high school, Valley Championship. She played for me for club her senior year, played for Sarah and I. And when she came back from university, started coaching with us and wanted to get into coaching. And so she coached a couple years of high school volleyball with us before she started coaching her first head job. And so we are very close friends. We talk a lot about volleyball. We both have obviously passion for the sport, and we do spend a lot of time talking about volleyball. But when you're going to face someone in a competitive match like we're going to this evening, you do kind of say like, all right, well, see you later, and then you just kind of wait till the last ball falls, and then we'll go back to breaking things down and talking about it.
Excellent. Love it. Well, we're going to have you now give the scouting report on Liberty. You're going to give us the scouting report because, look, this is the best thing that could ever happen to a play-by-play guy is to interview one of their best players and their head coach right before they're playing the opponent. I just take all these notes. So what's the scouting report on Liberty? What do you know so far? You played them already, but what do you expect? What can we expect tonight?
Yeah, they are a pretty good team. I think two of their best players are Ashton Rogers in libero and then Aaliyah Dev on the outside. I think, though, they are just neck and neck against Kat and Isla, too. We have two really good players as well. And so it's kind of going to be a battle of the outsides, I think, tonight. But they also have a pretty dynamic setter who just got off the bench. Sit out, yeah. And so she's going to be new. We haven't seen her before yet.
And what's her last name?
Paige Boyer.
Yeah, that's Kirk's daughter, right? So, hey, we're all a big family here, right? That's going to be I'm getting even more psyched. How'd you like her scouting report, or do you have more to add? I'd like to hear it.
No, she did an excellent job. They are a solid team, from start to finish, and so we're going to have to show up and just be ready to take care of business.
I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
T.
Morgan, obviously fourth and final year for you in high school. How much fun is the month of October in this league with all 5 teams ranked in the top 25 right now? Everybody can beat almost anybody on a given night. Does that get you excited for these Mondays and Wednesdays for these 5 weeks before you got to get in the playoffs? And then on top of that, how much does these 5 weeks prepare you for the rigors of the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, league is definitely really interesting because everyone's kind of different in preseason, and so now everyone's a little more solid, I would say, in league, and so the matches are definitely going to be a little harder. And I think that will prepare us, though, for what's to come with playoffs.
Right. Same thing for you, Kim. I mean, you've been a part of whether it's this league or the SWYL back when you were at Garces. Where do you see the league right now compared to years past? And is this about as competitive as you've seen it in about, I would say probably the last 6 or 7 years?
Yeah, I mean, like Morgan said, every team has the opportunity to win a game every single night, and you have to be ready to play and ready to take care of business. You can't. There's no games you get to take off or anything like that. Every single team is so solid and well coached and really can bring such intensity. So it's important that we practice that routine of being prepped and ready and prepared to play every game. Just like, again, my leader here, Morgan, said, because that is in preparation for our playoff environment.
Speaking of environment, Morgan, I think Centennial and Liberty are probably two of the best student sections in town.
Yes.
Obviously, you guys get a big crowd, big student section. You know that they're going to bring it tonight. How do you prepare yourself knowing that you've got 100 of your peers just barreling down on you for 2 hours?
I kind of take it like that motivates me more, and I'm able to kind of lock in a sense, and knowing that my peers are there to support me, it makes me more hyped and wanting to win.
Volleyball's got some of the most excruciating chants from the student section when the opposing team does something. Like, how does the floor taste? Do you have one that you hear just like, really? Can you come up with something more original? And then is there one that you've heard you're like, that was clever?
I feel like one that they do a lot is like Butterfingers when it like goes through your hands.
Butterfinger.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hear that one a lot.
That's a football one too.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone's really came out with anything like kind of on their own. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I'll get back to you on that.
And then look, I should ask this question first. Do you hear it?
Yeah.
I
probably right now say no.
Yeah, I block it out.
Yeah, don't say yes right now. Don't give them any more fuel. But yeah, I get it. Kim, do you ever hear that kind of stuff? Or are you kind of like that one that's always locked in? Or do you take in the environment nights like this?
Absolutely not. I mean, I can't, because I would get so distracted. I'd start laughing. I would definitely lose my focus. I try really hard. Yeah, I know, squirrel. I try really hard to stay engaged and focused on what I need to do to help my team be successful. So, for the most part, no, I don't generally hear a lot of it.
Tonight's going to be crazy. It's going to be, where we will be set up for the Current Network broadcast will be on the Centennial side, the visiting side. So we're going to be on the side that has all your fans and all your family, and then across the way will be Liberty. They still have the same volleyball announcer. He's just Liberty. They have a new announcer. Okay, so that always added to the mix there. Morgan, Centennial wins tonight because they did what?
Hustle. I think that's really what the game's going to come down to, is who can outwork the other team, and I think that will be like the ultimate decision maker.
Kim, without saying ditto, Centennial win tonight because they did what? Say ditto.
Manage their opportunities.
Okay, love it. I want to thank both of you for being here. When you got a bit, hurry.
Sorry, I've got a question from the audience, better known as our director, Alex.
Oh.
Hype manager, what is your favorite hype song before a big game like this?
So I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's called the church clap. And so it's kind of like this dance routine that we do before a game, and it's kind of become like a ritual of ours. And I'm not really sure where it came from.
How does it go?
It's like, so you do a little like clap with the song. One of our freshmen.
I'm so hyped right now. I am so hyped.
No, it's really fun, and it kind of like gets you going a little bit. I love it. Yeah.
Anything else, big man?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm excited about tonight.
This is going to be an absolute blast. Trevor's going to be there writing about it. I'll be calling it. The Current Network match of the week will be Centennial at Liberty, and this is a big, big Monday night to get things rolling. Morgan, thank you so much for being here. Coach, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. We know you have a busy afternoon ahead of you. We have some swag for both of you, so take your swag for being on the show. And in between the third and fourth quarter, we're going to take a couple still shot photos, and then we'll be back fourth quarter with Stan and Trevor and myself.
Valley Strong's youth accounts help kids practice earning and spending in the real world.
So, my rate for dishes is going up. With inflation.
Oh, is it?
Blame the economy!
Because when we plant financial literacy young, it grows the rest of their lives. Valley Strong's youth accounts teach kids how to save and earn interest on their hard-earned money.
Hey! You should be earning interest on your savings. Make the money work for you.
Because when we plant financial literacy young, it grows the rest of their lives.
Oh, Stan, thank you so much for getting Morgan and Kim here. It's really a big pleasure as we see them strolling off. Already talking volleyball, I'm sure. You're already talking volleyball as they're walking to the car. Don't forget, you got to use your hands on that one shot right there. Top secret. Stan, the volleyball vibe is rolling right now.
I just love the fact that we've been able to expand and continue to expand. You know, if we get another sport, I'll be even happier.
Well, hopefully do some wrestling. That's always fun doing wrestling. Enjoy doing that. And Trey, you've been on the volleyball beat now for a long, long time, for years at the Californian. And then when you were up at Garces High, you were also all over the volleyball beat there. You asked her an interesting question about, how do you feel the level of it here is. I liked her response that every year it's going to be pretty high at a certain level, but there is a cyclical time. There's a time when things aren't great, and then there's a time when, man, every school is rocking and rolling. Tonight's going to be a big time.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the games tonight, not just Centennial. Now, I'm going off the rankings that I had at noon today, not the rankings that are live right now because I don't have the time to fix them. But you got like Frontiers 23rd in the section. They're hosting Garces, which is ranked 13th, 23rd and 13th. Stockdale 17th. They're at Ridgeview tonight. BHS is on the road. They're at BCHS, who is 7th. Tomorrow, a match I'll be at, Chavez, is at Shafter. Shafter's ranked 17th in the section. So, I mean, there is a lot of talent when you think about, in the entire central section. In the central section, guys, when you guys were playing high school football, there was maybe 40 high schools. And then I'm not trying to age you guys. It's just, it's how quickly the Central Valley has grown, and then the fact that we've brought in the high desert schools. Those are the first ones to come in. Then we brought in the coastal schools, and we brought in more coastal schools, and we brought even more coastal schools into it. And now I think there's 113 schools that play 11-man football. So I mean, it's bigger, it's larger, and so for Kern County to have that many teams ranked in the top 25 in one sport means there's something good going on here.
Absolutely. Garces at Frontier, that's another great game tonight. You saw that slide up, Al? There's a lot of great volleyball this week. If you just look at all the nights and look at Thursday night, there's another couple of great ones in there. We were hit up by the West High volleyball team after in the huddle, and they said, hey, we have a good team too. You better come catch us. So we'll try to get them. We're going to try to get some more volleyball in there. Okay. Your thoughts on the match tonight. Let's get specific about Centennial Liberty. It's great to have Kim here. Great to have her player here, but there's also another team involved.
Adding in Paige Boyer matters. It really does. She was such a force at BCHS before she transferred over. But I don't think there's any surprises for these two teams just because the players know each other so well because they've been playing club and high school with and against each other for so long. You've got the two head coaches that are basically best friends. I think there's just so much familiarity within the two programs. But that's also what makes tonight so exciting because you don't know which one is going to give first. You don't know who's going to take that first momentum and who's going to lose the pendulum.
I want your pick in a second. Isla Rose, daughter of our good friend Johnny Rose, works for the district here. John and I grew up together since 5th grade. I saw this young lady last year, and I just said, oh, my God, she got her mom's looks and talent. That gal can play right there. She is something. Special team. Your thoughts on Centennial Liberty?
I thought the same thing about Isla. In fact, the fact of the matter is, when she was a freshman, I didn't know who it was until someone said Isla Rose. I said, "Is that Johnny's daughter?"
Yeah.
I go, wait a second here. I got some DNA questions here.
Well, I'm joking about the looks. She looks just like him, but
yeah, she does.
Boy, what a great athlete. So, what are your thoughts on the game?
Well, Johnny was a super athlete too. I don't misspeak on that. I think it's going to be a great match. I think there's a good rivalry between the two of them. I think that Centennial probably feels like they left a little bit on the table in Hawaii, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think it's going to be a good one.
No pick?
No, I'm not going to pick this one. You know what? I'll pick Centennial because she was here today. How about that? Kim was here.
I love that. Trevor, your pick for tonight.
I'm going to go to opposite only because if you ask me in 2 weeks about this match when it's at Centennial, I'm going to tell you the same exact thing on the opposite end. I'm going to give it to the home team just on that advantage alone because I think that's the only thing that kind of breaks these two programs is the crowd.
It's going to be a blast. For those of you watching live right now, set your clock about 6:15 tonight. Centennial at Liberty, biggest and best volleyball match, I believe, of the year so far. Okay, Alex, we're going to this one right here to our big boss director.
Still reeling from being called old and being told there was only 40 teams.
I didn't call you old. I didn't call you.
He did the old thing like, hey, no disrespect, but hey, I'm not calling you old, but
40 teams in the section when you and I played.
How long has Buchanan been around?
Who has more gray in their beard, him or me?
Me.
Yeah, he does.
Well, here's the thing: is I have to deal with you, and you have to deal with me. So that's why I'm more gray.
Okay, great one, good one. Okay,
did that work?
We're here, Alex.
Anybody believe that?
All right, KHSD top 10. Boy, this can bring up some conversation right here. Trevor?
This is off of, I did this yesterday before noon. For those that don't know, Cal Preps is on strike right now over a money dispute with the parent company CBS, which owns Max Preps, which they are tied in with, and they are the official website as of right now for the central section, the southern section, and about 5 other sections in the state of California.
And let me just add something. For those of you that are watching that doesn't resonate or ring bells with you, we get it, that's okay. But for all the people that are very much involved in high school sports, from a coach to an administrator to the media to players, it's a huge, huge deal. So I don't want to lose the people that aren't into that, because it's a big, big deal to not have Cal Preps. And honestly, I look at that for being a story topic that we could cover maybe.
Yeah, I don't want to get in the weeds too much about this, because I had a lot of conversations. I even talked to my good friend Mitch Stevens, who is lead writer and editor for SB Live. He used to work for Max Preps, also works for the San Francisco Chronicle. It's one of those things where it's a money move, and there's positions being used. Stan, you and I talked about it, but as of right now, that being set aside, these are the rankings from Cal Preps as of yesterday morning.
Not much is changing.
Not much is going to change here, but this is the top 10 teams in the central section, and you can see on the far right of the slide, you'll see the overall. So no teams from Kern County still ranked in the top 5 in the central section. Those honors belong to 4 teams from the track and Hanford, which is at number 5. So BHS still undefeated at Highland. Our Kern High Network game of the week this week, playing 5th-ranked Highland. Liberty's right behind them, 3-3, obviously, and then Frontier's behind them at 2-3. Obviously, those non-league schedules play into factor, the strength of schedule. They're not getting hurt by playing up. Centennial, great football team, playing very well. They're 4-1 going into league play this week. There's Highland at 5. Shafter dropped a little bit after losing to St. Joe's. They were actually ahead of Highland in these rankings. They're actually ahead of Centennial going into Friday night. Dropped them all the way down to 6. Independence, South. Stockdale still in there at 9 at 1-4. And then North, a team that I really think is the favorite in the Mountain League, they're at 10th at 2-3.
This is pretty cool, though. I'm looking at this I have a couple question marks, but really not that.
Ask and see if I can answer.
It's, I'm looking at the lower bracket down there and thinking, Stockdale's got some work to do there. But
strength of schedule.
But if you look at that middle section right there, Centennial, Highland, Shafter, 3 very, very good football teams. And how about this? Centennial's last game of the regular season versus Frontier. Stan, your thoughts? See anything here that catches your attention?
Yeah, I got a couple circles there. How about BHS? A year ago, I think they were just reeling from the Shafter loss, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even think they would have been in the top 10, maybe 8-ish. So it's really great to see them up there. I circled Centennial because I just feel like it's going to be their time. They're going to beat somebody, and it's not going to be expected. But with Jason Grant, he didn't have any yards last week. No yards rushing, right?
Didn't play.
That's right. Okay, so and that's why I said I worked on that joke all day yesterday. I said, this first weekend, Jason Grant had no yards. that guy's my guy right now.
Well, that was smooth. That landed well. Yeah.
And I circled North High. I just think that is so cool that we got North Highs in the conversation in the top 10. I agree with you. I think they're going to be really competitive. Levy's doing a great job over there, so excited about that.
Well, I'm looking at that number 8. I mean, the South Spartans. We keep saying it every week, and I think we might be covering a game pretty soon at South. They're no joke. They're big. I heard they're big.
They are.
They are large and in charge up front.
Yeah.
Wow.
Saw them a couple times, I think.
Yeah, and I'll see them for third time this week.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Trevor. So just to wrap things up here, what a smooth in the huddle this was for Lucky Show number 13. Alex, thank you as always. We appreciate it tonight. One more plug, one more push. If you're a volleyball fan, honestly, if you're a volleyball fan, you should go to the match and watch it live because it's going to be wild. And I'm telling you, by the second set, everything's going to be packed in there. Centennial at Liberty, thank you to Morgan and Kim for being here. We appreciate that. Upcoming news in the huddle, live at Scotland Yard this Friday afternoon, right around, do we know that time yet? Or is
I don't have the exact
It's
time
always
yet.
right at that lunch break, so
Yep.
12-ish, 12:30, 12:40-ish, right around there. The drillers are headed up to Highland High School. How about if we take just a minute for a little bit of prep on that, a little idea on that, Trevor?
Well, first off, bagpipes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, bagpipes. Excited about that.
Back and haggis? No, I don't think so.
Can we get Jonathan Davis as a guest picker? Lead singer of Korn, who went to Highland.
Sure. Hey, let me call him. Hang on a second. So, let's do football game.
I love it. Obviously, BHS, they're both coming off a bye. Highland coming off of a loss, but it was a loss with an asterisk because Austin Hernandez, starting running back, went down in the first quarter with an ankle injury. Tried his hardest to get back in the game, was never able to do it. I was on the sideline watching him. I mean, he was working as much as he could, trying to just get it loose. Didn't happen.
Will he go Friday?
As far as I know, he should be fine. Preston Mendez, I think he tried to push the ball a little bit too much against Porterville, had 4 interceptions. That'll get cleaned up. And then on the other side of the ball, the drillers, they don't want to start slow. They've started slow so many times this year, and it almost bit them against North High. They were down 17-7. I mean, Adam Levinson had a great game plan. It's just the pure strength in numbers and athleticism for BHS kind of took over in that game. But North showed that they can play with the big boys, and then, that pick six at the end of the first half for BHS, and then they literally scored 3 touchdowns in a blink. When I say a blink, in literally 2.5 minutes to start the third quarter, just to pull that game away.
I'm gonna collect all my information before I make a pick on Friday, because on Fridays in the huddle we'll do the entire Friday night schedule. We'll recap Thursdays because we have some games Thursdays, but we'll do that. And Stan, your final thoughts on the big game coming up Friday night?
I'm just excited. I think it's going to be a great game. I think both teams are ready. I agree with everything Trevor said. I feel like Highland's probably kicking themselves for what happened.
Alex, say that.
Probably kicking themselves for what happened.
Because you said it on air that you agree with something Trevor said.
Yeah.
So he wants to put that on the
It's been
clock.
10 years in the making.
Yeah, it's going to be a great atmosphere too. I think that's what's really cool. It's going to be we've had some good games and some